What do you even say after a game like that? In one of the wildest, most heart-stopping performances the NFL has seen this season, the Chicago Bears stormed into Cincinnati and escaped with a 47-42 win, a victory that somehow feels both exhilarating and exhausting. It was the kind of game that tests every fan's patience, faith, and blood pressure all at once. The Bears improved to 5-3 on the year, while the Bengals slipped to 3-6. But this final score only tells a fraction of the story. For most of the afternoon, it looked like Chicago had this one sealed. They were up 41-27 with just over 3 minutes remaining, dominating on the ground, controlling the clock, and making big plays when it mattered. But then, everything unraveled fast. The Bengals, behind a resurgent Joe Flacco, punched in a quick score, went for 2, and made it a 6-point game. Suddenly, momentum flipped. The Bears just needed to recover an onside kick and kneel it out. But fate had other plans. The ball ricocheted off Daniel Hardy's foot, a moment symbolic of the Bears' special teams' struggles all day. Cincinnati recovered, and you could almost feel every Chicago fan groan in disbelief. What followed was pure chaos. The Bengals capitalized, drove the field, and scored again, tying the game and silencing the crowd in disbelief. It was déjà vu from the kind of collapses Bears fans have known too well in past seasons. But this time, something was different. With the game on the line and only a minute remaining, Caleb Williams took the field. Cool, composed, and unfazed by the chaos around him, the rookie quarterback showed why the Bears believe he's their future. On 3rd and 10, Williams scrambled for 13 yards to keep the drive alive. Then, with 25 seconds left and 1 timeout remaining, offensive coordinator Ben Johnson dialed up a play that will be replayed all week. Williams firing a perfect dart to Colston Loveland on a deep dig route. Loveland broke a tackle and sprinted 58 yards to the end zone. Touchdown. 17 seconds left. Bears 47, Bengals 42. The Cincinnati crowd stood stunned. The Bears' sideline erupted. The nightmare had turned into a miracle. And when the Bengals tried one last Hail Mary, Chicago's defense brought pressure, forcing Flacco off his back foot. The pass fell 20 yards short of the end zone. Game over. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't perfect. But it was a win that showed this Bears team might be learning how to close the games they used to lose. For all the chaos and blown leads, this was still a game defined by resilience, and by 2 breakout rookie performances that could shape the Bears' season moving forward. Caleb Williams, despite inconsistencies, showed poise in crunch time. His final stat line included 4 total touchdowns, including one as a receiver on a brilliantly designed Philly special trick play that left the Bengals' defense stunned. He also caught another pass later in the game, part of an aggressive, creative game plan by Ben Johnson that kept Cincinnati guessing all afternoon. But the true story of this win may belong to 2 young names Chicago fans won't soon forget, Colston Loveland and Kyle Monangai. Loveland, the rookie tight end, had a career day with 6 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. His route running, balance, and yards after catch ability looked years beyond his experience level. Then there was Kyle Monangai, the 7th-round running back who turned heads with a performance straight out of a football fairy tale. With DeAndre Swift sidelined, Monangai carried the load, 26 carries for 176 yards, plus 22 receiving yards. Nearly 200 total yards of offense from a rookie most fans outside Chicago had barely heard of. His vision, power, and toughness kept drives alive and forced the Bengals' defense on its heels all game. Even backup Britton Brown, elevated from the practice squad, made his mark with 37 yards and a touchdown, his first NFL score since 2022. It was a complete team effort on offense, one of the most balanced performances of the season. 30 first downs, 576 total yards, 7.6 yards per play, 283 rushing yards, 293 passing yards. That's the kind of offensive explosion Bears fans have been waiting for. But it wasn't all sunshine. Chicago's defense and special teams nearly threw the game away. The secondary struggled badly, giving up 470 passing yards to 41-year-old Joe Flacco, the most in his career. Cornerback Tariq Stevenson had a rough return from injury, and the safeties were caught out of position several times, allowing seam shots and missed coverages that kept Cincinnati alive. Still, a few bright spots stood out. Austin Booker's strip sack, crushing tackle on Orlando Brown, and Tremaine Edmonds' interception in the fourth quarter gave the Bears crucial chances to score. Montez Sweat continued to flash as a pass rush threat, looking more comfortable in his role each week. And in the end, when Chicago absolutely needed one more play, the defense made it, bringing pressure on that final Hail Mary and sealing the victory. If you're loving this kind of in-depth, emotional Bears coverage, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This season is full of ups and downs, and we're here after every game with raw reactions, breakdowns, and everything Bears Nation needs. So if you're part of this journey, stick with us, because it's going to be one wild ride. The Bears won, but they know they can't keep tempting fate like this. Head coach Matt Eberflus and special teams coordinator Richard Hightower will have plenty to address before the next kickoff. The special teams unit was a disaster in Cincinnati, starting from the opening play when Charlie Jones returned the kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown. Several other returns went past midfield, and kicker Cairo Santos missed a 47-yarder that could have widened the margin earlier. It got so bad that, with just 17 seconds left, Chicago refused to risk another return, booting the ball out of the end zone instead of trying a short kickoff. It was a wise call, but also a sign of how little trust the coaching staff currently has in that unit. The good news? The punting game was outstanding. Trenton Gill bombed a 69-yarder and pinned the Bengals deep multiple times. But the rest of the group needs serious fixing, and soon. On defense, communication breakdowns and missed assignments cost the Bears dearly. The secondary allowed too many big plays, and while Flacco's performance was impressive, much of it came from avoidable errors. The unit had only one forced punt all game, a stat that will haunt them during film study. Still, it's hard to ignore how this team keeps finding ways to win. A year ago, this game would have ended in heartbreak. Instead, Caleb Williams and a group of fearless rookies found a way to snatch victory from collapse. That's the difference between a rebuilding team and one learning how to win. Now, attention shifts to the NFL trade deadline, where reports suggest the Bears could be looking to add defensive help, possibly a pass rusher or a cornerback. With momentum on their side and a 5-3 record, the front office may see this as the time to push for something bigger. One thing's certain, this Bears team, for all its flaws, has captured the heart of its fans again. They may not be perfect. They may drive you crazy. But they fight, and in this league, that's where every turnaround begins. Final score, Chicago Bears 47, Cincinnati Bengals 42. Record 5-3. Mood survive. Advance. Believe.